Welcome back to the Wayward Gourmands. This is Keith, and this is my assistant Keith, Cooking with Keith's. Today we're making
bagels.
That's right. Everybody loves a good bagel, but sometimes it's hard to find. So I'm going to show you how you can make your own at home, and it's nice and easy, and you don't need that much stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 4 cups of flour in the mixing bowl already. All of the precise measurements are going to be in the comments below, and my assistant is going to start adding. So we're going to add some yeast. I like using yeast because you don't have to bloom it. Go ahead, put the yeast in. Yay. And this ingredient is diastatic malt powder, but sometimes it's hard to find. So what you could do is you can use brown sugar in its stead. And I'll put that option in the comments below. Go ahead, dump it in.
Hey, that actually just looks like that.
You gotta get it all out. There you go. Some salt.
Not that much. Yay. Oh, that's... No.
A little bit of sugar. Yeah, just get the rest of that out of there.
That's pretty hard.
All right.
Oops.
You got a little bit left. That's all right, though. And some tepid water. You don't want it to be too hot because it'll kill the yeast, but too cold and it won't really, rise as quickly. So we're going to put this in. You want to put it in? Go ahead. Good job. All right, so we're going to raise this up, and I want you to put it on stir. Good job. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this go for about 2 minutes just to combine everything. Once it all comes together, we're going to shut it off and let it sit for like 5 minutes and kind of let the flour absorb the moisture. And then what we'll do is we'll put it back on a little bit higher for about 8-9 minutes until it all really comes together, is pulling away from the side. If it gets caught on the hook, you're going to want to stop, scrape everything down, mash it all together, and then let it start going again. So we're going to let this go, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, so it's been kneading for about 8 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut this off. All right, good job. And you're going to notice that the dough is not really tacky. It's a firm dough.
It's like... Can I feel it?
Go ahead. See how it's not really sticky?
But I can't touch it.
Well, if you're feeling it, you're touching it.
I can't lick it.
No. Go ahead, eat that off your finger if you want. There's no egg in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this to an oiled bowl, and we're going to cover it with a damp cloth, and let it rest for a while. You can kind of shape it. You want to make sure it has a nice tight skin on it. Now, when you raise this, proof this, I should say. When you proof this, it's not going to double in size like if it's a pizza dough or something like that, because it is a much more dense dough. So we're going to put it in here, and I'm going to
Let's mix it.
cover it with the damp rag, and we're going to let this sit for about an hour, and it'll puff a little bit, but it's not going to double in size like I said. So we'll be back in about an hour, and we'll show you how to start prepping it and breaking it up into the sizes we need to make the individual bagels. All right? The dough has risen. You can see it's a bit puffy. It didn't really double in size. It's kind of a dry dough. I didn't flour this at all, and it's not sticking. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this down, and what we're going to do is we're going to divide this into 12 equal pieces, and this will make a dozen bagels. So the easiest way to do it is in half, and in half again, and then kind of make an oval, and then they're not going to be perfect. You might have to do a little adjusting. There, that looks a lot better.
Oh, that's a big bagel.
Yeah, that would be a big bagel.
Oh, but we were gonna make 8 bagels.
We're going to make 12. That's what a dozen is.
That's a big one. Oh,
Okay, so that was a little slow. You can adjust. It's not science. I mean, you can. So what we're going to do now, stand up. I'm going to show you. I mean, you kind of have this bagel dough, but it's not really formed. So what you want to do is you want to try and peel it back, and you're going to put it on a counter, dry counter, and then you're going to roll it between your fingers like this.
I have to do it?
Yeah.
So I have to move it to the side?
Go ahead. Just roll it with your fingers.
Oh, like this?
Yep.
Oh my god.
With a little pressure, because what you want to do is you want to try and tighten up the skin. So you're going to push down a little bit, and you're going to roll it.
Oh,
Just like that.
I know.
Okay? Close, with just your fingers.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
See what I'm doing? Just with my fingers.
Oh.
And then we're just going to put it on here for a sec. And now we have the next one.
Oh, I know.
You're going to get it into a ball. And you're going to roll it with your fingers.
Get it.
Okay? Go ahead. You get that one going. And I'll get some going up here.
Like that?
Yep. Takes a little getting used to, but if you roll it with your fingers like this, just with a little downward pressure, you're going to tighten the skin and you're going to form the balls. Oh, that's perfect. Good job.
That's
So I'll
horrible.
start with you.
That's horrible.
No, it's a ball. It's a ball of dough. So go ahead. We're going to keep going with these. Some of them would be a little bit bigger. I mean, you don't want it to be obnoxiously off, because then the baking times will be way off. And you'll have an undercooked one or an overcooked one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep forming these. And once we get them all done, we'll be back in a second. And the next step is going to be the forming of the actual bagel. So now that everything is rolled, we're going to form them in 2 different ways I'm going to show you. One is more kid-friendly and it's a lot easier for them to learn. You're going to take your finger and you're going to push it down through the center of it.
Oh. Because the bagels have this like little hole.
Right, so now you have that hole. Look, pick it up,
That's good.
pick it up, and you're going to put your thumbs into that hole and you're going to start tearing out. And you're going to work it. You're doing great. Again, these aren't going to be picture perfect, but they're going to taste really good. And while we're doing this,
Bam!
yep, there you go, pow. And we're going to get this. Here, do another one.
Yay!
Now the other way I'm going to show you is we're going to roll them out.
Huh? Okay.
And you want to make about a 9-inch, go ahead, keep rolling. Get about a 9-inch log, a little bit of water or egg wash, and you're going to put it on there. You're going to spin this around.
It's just staying the same.
And you just kind of roll it and mesh it together, and then boom, you got your bagel. Here, I'll help you. I'll show you how to roll it out. You put downward force, and you just There you go.
And then you connect them together. No.
Yeah.
Can I?
No, I got it right there.
Oh.
Now bring this tip around to that side.
Yeah. Wow.
And now put your fingers in the middle. And then push down. And roll. Takes a little practice, but you're doing fine. You stand up. We're going to form the rest of these bagels, and we'll be back in a minute with the next step, which is going to be boiling them. What you're going to need now is a wide flat bottom pan with about 2 inches of simmering water in it with about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar dissolved. Alright, now that you have your water bath all ready, we're going to start to boil these bagels off. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to not crowd the pan, but you're going to want to put maybe half of the bagels in the water, depending on the size of the pan. You want to give them a little room to bob up and down in there. You're going to boil them for about 30 seconds per side. And what this is going to do is this is going to gelatinize the proteins on the surface of the bagel, and it's going to make them a little bit tougher, which will give you that nice crisp outside and maintain a chewy inside. If you boil them too long, what's going to happen is the oven spring, when you bake them, isn't going to happen as much, and you're going to wind up with a really, really dense bagel. So, like I said, 30 seconds per side, and then you're going to want to flip them. Now, you can flip them with a spoon or some other way, but the easiest way that I have found to flip them is with a pair of chopsticks. So next time you order your Chinese food, grab a couple extra packs, you have them on hand, you can flip the bagels with them, or even if you're frying donuts, which might be a later show, you'll have them on hand, and it just makes it a lot easier. You don't have to boil them, but then they would basically be rolls with a hole in them, and nobody likes that. You want bagels. So we're going to get these boiled off, and then we're getting them seasoned up, and we'll get them in the oven. Okay, so now all the bagels are boiled, and I have them laid out here. They're all going to get an egg wash, and then we're going to go through and we're going to put our coatings on them. What we're going to be using today is sesame seed, poppy seed, and then everything bagel. You can generally get these right in the spice aisle at your supermarket. So we're going to start brushing the egg whites on.
Can I now? Yes, it's good. Yeah, let it bath. Everywhere you have to put this on.
Yep, just make sure it's all over the top. It's going to give it a nice color when it cooks.
And yes, I am going to try that. Oh, this one's a good one. I want this one.
Oh, yeah?
Where's that brush right now? That one looks so.
All right, I'll make sure we don't put any seeds on that one then. Okay, good. Give it a brush. We're good with that. And now we're going to go with the seeds.
Can I pour them?
Well, we're not pouring them all on. What you're going to do is you're going to take a pinch and you're just going to sprinkle them on like that. Okay?
Do I have to put that on that bagel?
No, we're not putting them on this whole side. Like I said, we're going to leave half of it plain. So take a pinch of this.
I have to.
There you go.
I need some.
Go ahead, you can take more. No. Now we're going to do poppy seeds on that one. So we're going to do it, and we're...
Oh no.
One seed on there is not going to kill you. Trust me. You've had plenty of bagels that had some poppy seeds on them. Do it on that one.
I got some of the... Yeah, poppy seed. Look here, man.
It's okay. You can mix anything. Look, this one is called everything. You know why?
Because it has everything what to put
Exactly.
on the bagel.
So if it mixes in, it mixes in.
Ooh, can I try?
Hey, you know what? Let me bring this closer so you don't have to lean. You can put as little or as much of the toppings as you want on these. We're going a little bit light. We don't want to go too crazy. But again, we're going with poppy seed, sesame seed, and everything, which is like white and black sesame seeds, onion, dried garlic, everything like that. Hence the name, everything. So once these are all set, these are going to go into a 450-degree oven. We're going to put them in. We're going to turn the tray 180 degrees after 15 minutes, and then they're going to go for another 10 until they're a really good dark mahogany color, and then they should be done. All right, so the bagels were finished baking. They baked for about 25 minutes. We rotated them 180 degrees at 15 minutes. We put them on a wire rack for cooling, but we're going to leave them before we cut any of them for about 30 minutes, so the steam inside that's built up continues and finishes cooking them. As you can see, they have a nice crisp outer tie. I'm expecting a nice chewy interior. Like I said, we got the mix of the different toppings and everything like that. It's a lot of fun making them with the kids. You can see it's easy. They're not pretty, but with practice, they just get better looking and better looking. I mean, this is the first time that Keith has ever made them, and you could see how well he did. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit like and subscribe down below, and we're going to come out with a bunch of other videos, a lot of kid-friendly recipes that they'll be able to help you do and help you eat and everything like that. We'll see you next time on The Wayward Gourmands. This is Keith.
And this is Keith.
That's right. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for joining us. Okay, so now all the boils are bageled. Okay, now because the oven's only at 175 degrees, because I'm a jackass and didn't turn it on early enough.